I'm live. And I am about it. You said you're about it? I said I'm about it. Now, my members know that there's a poll, right? It's only for certain members. So if you see an Elements reading coming out, it is because it is requested by my members. I like to do that. I imagine one day they're going to say, either we want you to go to Sassafras and go live because they're paying me to do so. I'm going to go to Sassafras and go live because this is what you do. Now, y'all know somebody going to do that, right? They're going to come on and they're going to say, where you want me to go and go live? It's going to be a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how they get down. Not all of them, you know. But apparently, no celebrities have CAs, so they're not rocking with Ether. Let me tell y'all something. All of y'all that's important, is something going on in your name somewhere, some universe somewhere. I seen something right, and it said, Boosie sentenced, and I'm like, he was just on live yesterday. They speaking it into existence. He's something cocky and arrogant, right? And I imagine that, that throws people off. You know, he's an individual that says things and he's very bold with it. So I said, let me get my device, right? You know, and the archangels can send me who they want me to look up on a timeline and let me see what pops up there. So I got it right here, I got it right here. Apparently I'm live, y'all. So when they ready, I'm gonna put something in here. And they say Boosie. You wanna see what pops up about Boosie? Let's see. You know, I don't be having my stuff on blast. So y'all not finna hear nothing. Right? I don't think. But let's see what pops up about Boosie. Alright. Now I put Boosie into YouTube, right? And it say, the first thing say, love your family. And then it say, lip service. Then it say, Boosie speaks on pending sentence. Then it say, Boosie hustle. Boosie mind of a maniac. Cray, period, featuring you know who. This is what pops up. Now, because I do not go on YouTube with this device, because some people think I'm just on YouTube with everything I got. Yeah, that's what pops up. If I were to go and type Boosie on this device that I'm on right now, a whole different lineup will come up. I know that my content is being distributed somewhere else right now because of what comes up on my timeline. I could tell you, right? When I turn on this device and I go into any app, I'm not where I'm looking at. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not physically where I'm looking at. Now you say, yeah, because it's worldwide. You get that part. But I'm on the outside looking at. what's taking place somewhere that I just left. Y'all get what I'm saying? Some of y'all, you feel like you are like that because your content is being displayed, but you're not. You are 1D, and because of the medium you're using, it's multi-dimensional. So that leaves the door open for sassafras and womp to say and do whatever they want. Now, in the last live, I talked about things that were going down in the future and currently somewhere. Y'all know I was somewhere, right? And I said, why they got the mask on? Because that's been there, done that. And then it dawned on me, like you could be sitting next to someone and they're somewhere else in their mind. Like you right there, but they're somewhere else in their mind. You could be in a home, a business, and adjacent, that business is somewhere else. The thing about the World Wide Web is it is multidimensional. That means somewhere way over in a different galaxy, somebody could watch you. I know y'all don't believe that we are the only ones that walk and talk and breathe. Some already know. Like I was scrolling the timeline on this device and I see something that says 8 years. By the way, it's been many times that I've shared stuff on my community section that'll say 2 days ago. And by the time it makes it to my community section, it's 3 months. Perfect example of a time warp. Just that quick. So when I said I'm stopping free promotion, I'm stopping that because they don't really rock with me, right? So I'm not going to bring something that you know is 20, 30 years old into this timeline because you don't rock with me. That's what I meant. So that means you popular there, but you're not going to be popular here or any other place. This is the way of big business now. Y'all understand that, right? Y'all feel like influencers, even some influencers years ago talked about that. They said, you want me to showcase yada, yada, yada. I done built up this platform, especially here. You're going to have to pay me. You want me to talk about your channel? You want people to come over there and watch your stuff? You're going to pay me. Perfect example of a business person. You know, everything that I got don't have this on it. Well, now, just about. If I were to go right now, right, and go to one of these woo-wops and say, I'm going to put this on my line right here without no cash. This is what individuals do. Y'all know that, right? I'm going to go to this establishment and I'm going to get the latest device. And if it go off, it don't matter because the device in my hand. You can take it to another establishment, have it turned on, whatever. This is how people have the latest stuff. Y'all will be sitting there idolizing, because that's what it is. Individuals that be gaming others to get the latest. I'm talking about Boosie because he's trending. Everyone talks about Boosie. Y'all know that. Why y'all, why y'all acting like he's not a hot topic? I also seen something with Mr. Charleston White. And in this little 30-second clip, he said basically, you cannot give me 20 million because I'm not going to act right with 20 million. And he knows his limits. Somebody like myself, I say, give me 20 million and I'm buying stores, property, I'm buying investments, right? I'm building actual 501c3s that people could benefit from, like shelters and stuff like that. Because that's when you really putting people on. Like you really doing service in the community. And then not everybody think like me. I imagine if you have 20 million, right? And you got the mindset of a God, put a demi in front of it. Cause none of us ever gonna be the big G. You got the mindset of a demi G, not a little G, a demi G. Is variables to this. First of all, 20 million is too low. That's what I say. Because if you like Big G or the equivalent of Big G, and 20 million gonna make you like him, that's lowballing to me. Because the Big G is the creator of all of this. So if somebody say, like Mr. White said, right, you give me 20 million, I'm gonna have a God complex. Because that's what it is. He said, I am a narcissist, I am everything. And he don't care. He said, you can't give me that much money because people are not gonna like me. You know what I'm saying? At least he was truthful about it. You know what happens when the light bulb come on with certain individuals and they say, I got something. First of all, individuals like me know to make money, you have to have money coming in and out. I could be sitting here with nothing but lint in my pockets. But if somebody give me something or buy something from me, that means it's an influx of money coming in and out for me and that person. So if somebody say, I only got $5, that's not enough for me to do what I need to do and to donate per se, right? Guess what? You're going to have $5 the rest of the week, maybe nothing for the rest of the month. Yes, that's how the Big G work. I'm telling y'all. What I know is a fact is when individuals donate to me, they have a vibrant week, month, year. They know it. They're not going to say nothing. And this is the reason why my chat is closed. Because y'all don't need to know. Y'all don't need to know who is up there, who is where they need to be for that to happen. Because then y'all will try to put a T on them. That's just real spill. What I know is true is most that are wealthy are not in front of a camera. Established business people with real wealth are not in front of a camera. Y'all gotta think about it, right? More money, more problems. Where's this money coming from? You could say, well, I got residuals here, I got royalties here, I got a constant flow. But if you got mansions and estates, You know, that's when you see people driving around their little estate and they got to do their own property because they can't afford the grounds man, the pool man, the energy service is 10 racks. You know, like it's like at some point if it's not a constant flow, because that's what wealthy people, they don't have small people problems like me. They got big people problems. When they in it, they in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I imagine if I was a estate owner, right? And I had a whole bunch of people that don't like me. It'd be all kind of corpse coming after me. You know, it'd just be all bad. Like real bad, bad. The hood does not understand the wickedness of not ascending. Cause you like it's bad here. You know. But when you up there and you gotta, you just rolling down a mountain, rolling down a mountain, rolling down a mountain. And by the time you get to the bottom, you in a heap load of ish, literally. And then, it's not, the greater you are, the harder the fall. When you get to the bottom, it's not gonna be an person there helping you get that ish off of you. Everybody, the Puffy topic died down. It was so many that wanted to see him fall. So many that he done shook hands with, took care of, So, when if somebody were to ask me a question like, what would you do if you were on Puffy status? I would say, I wouldn't ever want to be on Puffy status. Like Mr. White said, I don't want that type of money. Because when you're on Puffy status, that means everybody coming for you. People that you think you love, people you thought you loved, people you put on, everybody. I seen what I think is a real depiction of him because there's so many. They got AI Puffy, you know what I'm saying? And he had a smile on his face. Imagine that. You locked in the Bing and you got a smile on your face. Like, I imagine he's here and he at peace. But what you mean to tell me you believe that Puffy Combs is at peace there? Yeah, because he don't have a whole bunch of snakes on the plane. Of course we scratching and gnawing. How much y'all think his defense cost? Do you think that that defense team took him under like to just seal the deal, having to pay for that? I imagine it did. So by the time you get behind those bars, right, you like, whew, it's over. Now, when he come out, it's gonna be a whole bunch of people want to know what he gonna do. If I was Mr. Combs, I would be like, I'm not messing with none of y'all. Because they feel like when you get old, it's over. And for some, it's a new start. It's a new start because now you know for sure that you can't trust nobody in this circle. In that circle, this circle, you know for sure. Even if he come out with 5 pennies in his pocket, he'll still be greater than a lot of dudes that tried to shame him. And he know that. Individuals like me know that. But they don't feel like that. You know, you get old. Like one thing about the industry, y'all already know. In the industry, when you get old, you a has-been. Why you say that, Ether? I said it because it's the truth. Imagine building so much, right? And being around everybody that is hungry for what you built, including your own offspring. You know, I'm going to tell y'all something. There has been so many wealthy people that when they went to write their will, they decided no one in their heritage was going to get that. Why are you saying this, Ether? Because it's the truth. They had donated to some charity. Imagine building wealth and then deciding no one is deserving of this that I gave birth to. That's a cold blow right there. This is the way of the worlds. Or imagine, right? You leave all of your stuff, right, to someone. You leave them enough money where they now are a trust fund kid. They ain't got to worry about nothing. And then they got your enemy's children in your domain, in your business. And the whole thing about that is it was written somewhere that your enemy was going to get all of your stuff. You know what I said would be a good skit, would be a good movie? I mean, yeah, it is. We seen examples of this type of stuff with the Mendez brothers and stuff like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Doing a skit on your own offspring trying to take you out. That would be something that is worthy because we all know the hood, the hood genre is brother against brother. But the real spill be your own. That's the real spill. We've seen examples of that with Malcolm X. Get your hand out my pocket. That was the coldest part of that movie to me. Here you are, you're on the podium, and you're around everyone that you feel like you're safe around, and everybody in on it. you know, they, the times of recording all of your secrets without you knowing is right now. Some of y'all gonna realize that. You gonna say this whole time I done had this individual around me and they've been recording me. Y'all know it comes out in my readings. They don't need to purchase anything. For my members, they don't need to purchase not one reading. They don't need to donate. You know, we see certain celebrities, you know, they branch off, you know. They'll go into fashion, they'll go into restaurants. It's always the same stuff that's they didn't see in somebody. They don't want to sway from the blueprint. The singers and rappers, they go into the movie industry because God forbid you sway from the blueprint. It was working for this one. We think it's not working for this one, but we just gonna recreate everything he do. Imagine reaching out to someone, right, and saying, I want you to be a part of this. And they feel like you're not famous enough, so they can't work with you. Then they go get some off-brand, some side street, and decide they're going to put that one on. Imagine that. And then when you're sweating, you got the beads of sweat trickling down on you. And you know you in a situation that they like, God is not important right now. God is on that podium. This one right here has the power to end everything with the hit of a gavel. I was sitting here talking to the archangels, right? And I said, if I ever get taken down to that point, because I know and they know that he will do it. I don't want to be in the being, because that's what y'all say now. For no petty stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I imagine I'll just be sitting there, you know, watching everybody live. If I eat today, I eat. If I don't, I don't. But I'm not finna go in there and snatch nothing up, because then that'll put me behind bars. You know, when you start thinking about what takes place in the projects, how they safe with it, they not finna go around the corner down the street and hop off in nobody's window that could pick up that phone and say, whoop, 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 whoop. We gonna take from the individuals that's doing bad or worse than us. Matter of fact, anything that I need today or I feel like I might need next week, y'all know Christmas is coming up. I heard someone say, it's expensive. I ordered a PS5 controller. I already got all of this stuff, right? And then all of a sudden, you go to work and you come back and everything that you've purchased for Christmas is gone. Just that quick. You know, some sit back and they say, I know that I work for the Big G, because he done told me. Now, if he haven't told you that you work for him, you ought not do things that you feel like I'm giving you the go to do. Because a lot of them will sit, and I know where you're at, and feel like that means you have the green light to do something, and you don't even like me. So don't play that. Don't take that, because that's not smart. If you know you don't like me, you plotting on me, you plotting on mine, don't sit in my life and feel like you have the green light to do something. Because you don't. I'm just saying the reality. You know, the Monashee said, God giveth and he taketh away. Instantly. He said, I don't want to be nowhere near where anybody's ascended. The person next to you ascended. They didn't have no choice. When I said When I say some, it's not just one protocol for everybody. You got, for instance, you got if you don't ascend, they come in. If you don't ascend, you out of there, and then you ascend in your sleep. You ascend when you walking. So when you hear me say some people don't have no choice, it's variables there. And it's all because someone got to the right place. So say you ascend in your sleep. That means somebody got to the right place. So it could be a good thing or a bad thing. If you know that you're doing wrong and you're constantly doing wrong and you aspire to do wrong, then the sweat beads that's formulating on your forehead right now is because this is reality. Some people feel like they're bold enough because that is the way the big G created them to be. So they don't mind going down, doing time. It's just something in them, right? The real beasts, the real savages, and all of that stuff. It's just something in them that say, I do not care. Because the big G done already told me I'm going to be more abundant here. I'm going to be bigger and better here. As a matter of fact, there's a certain class, right, that know they supposed to be behind bars. I'm telling you. So when y'all be hearing that now, go, it's time. That's not for y'all. So don't make it for y'all. I'm just a messenger, remember? That's the thing about ascension or descension. Sometimes you descend and you safe. Sometimes you ascend and it's not, that means, they coming in. You know what I'm talking about? Like you get a quarter meal and now it's time because now the debt can be paid because it's so grand. What you owe is so grand. That if they go in at that point, at that moment, then it'll be paid in one whop. When I said you don't have to pay me, but you're gonna pay somebody. You got to figure out who all could benefit from you at any given moment. You got illegitimate children that could benefit spiritually and physically illegitimate. That means at some point they intruded into your heritage for your lineage. Because someone said, Buddha Tata Sanakati. And it was, that's it. It was being then. So, you got them, then you got your defense team, you got all of your, what's some things called, investors. You got the corporation that's been trying to buy that mansion, estate, or whatever, home. You know what they do? And they so slick with it, these real estate companies. When you in a home that they want and someone passes over, you know what they do? If there's anyone in there that is not able to pay that mortgage, they're going to give them money to get out. It's always a set amount. This ties into what happened this morning, you know that. You know that no one in that domain, property, business, could take care of that estate. No one. They cannot afford it. So after 2 or 3 months go past, 6 months is always the cap. Because then they're going to take another avenue. If someone ain't filed bankruptcy, if someone ain't talked to somebody, they're coming in. And if you happen to, I'm putting her on right now so she'll know. If you happen to be in that place, they're going to say, here go 2 racks. You can say, well, either they could sell what's in there. They could, but to who? Who they gonna sell it to? What you gonna get on the book? You ought not do that. Because everyone that follows you is hungry. Absolutely everyone. When you are the offspring of somebody that is well known, and you got 50,000 followers, and you're not famous at all. It's your parents that's famous and stuff like that. You know what that's about. You know. And then some of y'all off on tour and you got Sassafras and Whoop 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 and Shady Grady and Larry Lowball all up in your stuff. You come back and you like, where my diamond necklace at? Where my baguettes? Like where my stuff at? That's gonna happen to a lot of y'all when y'all come off tour. You don't have to send me no confirmation because I'm giving it to you right now. The thing is when you got a big ego, this is how it has to be done. And see, I'm not big worried about nothing because everyone in your entourage is hungry. So it's like, you know, I'm doing my job. And apparently to a lot of y'all, that means you're going to get it for free. And I'm saying, you is. You're going to get all the information for free. So you can't be mad at me. You ought to be mad at the individuals that's doing it to you. Because I can't make no money if I'm telling you names, dates, places publicly. First of all, it's too many of y'all to do that. So how am I going to eat? Now, I know you can't expect me to be worried about how you going to eat, and ain't none of y'all worried about how I'm eating. You know what I hear sometimes when certain people go live? I hear the plots from the onlookers. They don't do me like that. They talk to each other. They talk to Sanakinos and all of that stuff. I hear what people think. For instance, their teeth look yellow. Da, 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 da. Somebody just now figuring out that teeth naturally are off-white. They're not white, crystal white. Those are them things, them veneers and stuff. You look like you got money. You know what I'm saying? You look like you got money. You look like you're real clean and all of that. You're saying, I'm going to do a meet and greet. I'm going here. I'm going there. This is why a lot of them don't say where they're going. They'll show you where they've been after they've been there because they already know the possibilities. They not ooped. They still got to give you content. They still got to be flashy and flamboyant. You know what I'm saying? It still has to happen. When I say, I said it before, y'all have to understand it, that somebody like me with wealth is different than someone else. So now y'all understand that a lot of people have eyes on them because the individuals that are watching want what they got. If I was somebody that had 100 million worth of jewels, y'all remember it was a time where individuals bought safes. I seen something so cold. I was watching one of them channels, and one of them pop channels, right? And he opened up the trunk, and they got a whole safe in the back. And this a female. You know what I'm saying? You mean to tell me you done picked up somebody's safe and walked out with it? Just imagine that. Y'all know how heavy safes are? They're heavy for a reason. The average person is not gonna be able to lift a safe. You gonna need some tools for that. And she just driving around with somebody. I know her gas. I know she not making good mileage. She got a whole safe in the back. You know, it's like you created. You did all of this. You accumulated all of this for it to be gone in an instant, and you can't figure out which one it is. Imagine just being around somebody that every time they need something, they just taking it from you. So now y'all understand, right? That's the flip side to not having friends, fake friends, and family members around you. Now, don't put it on me because some of y'all, after y'all experience it, you talk about it in your music, but you got to go through it first. I said, dude be in there shopping like he had a mart. You know what I'm saying? Like he at the mall or something. It get real good when they start saying y'all. I talked about it in my videos years ago. The ones that is bold like them, they'll say they don't make just one of these. That like I been had that. Ching. You want this, type ish. Like how do you deal with somebody like that? And then they are sitting a kin on top of it, and they talking in their mind. You know what I'm saying? Saying where you gonna be at, what time. You know what I'm saying? That's the variable to a paradigm shift. A paradigm shift means it was gonna happen anyway. An ascension means you either ascended to be in it or miss it. You know what I'm saying? A descension means you either descended to be in it or miss it. Y'all see how that works? So all of them ones that said I went before them, I destiny swapped, and woo 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 woo. The big G had a plan for that. You know. You know how you be like, what happened to sassafras and whoom whoom whoom? And then later on you see them somewhere where you don't imagine that they would ever be, right? Because everybody feel like you're not gonna see people there, and then you see somebody that know you. I'm finna go over here to Nova Scotia, per se. Nobody knows me. Nobody that I know is going to be in Nova Scotia. And then you go to Nova Scotia and the whole block there. You know what I'm saying? This why they be needing readings, but they rather do the public one. So they say, all right, everybody on tour right now, you know, I'm not on tour. I'm not gonna be on tour for another month. So this don't apply to me. So I already know what's gonna happen to them. It's not gonna happen to me. That part not for me. When I said if it come up on your timeline, it's for you. It might be about you or for you. Now, just because it came out 3 years ago, 6 years ago, don't mean that it's not for you right now. Because that's how the big G work with descended beings. When I said blue face, blue face, blue face, blue face, keep popping up on my timeline. For instance, the boxing match. I kept seeing it. And then I said, let me watch it. And when I watched it, it wasn't what I expected. That is it.